Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode here in NHL 22. So last episode we took on the Minnesota Wild in the first round of the playoffs, and unfortunately we lost the series in 5 games. It was kind of a shock considering last year we went all the way to the Stanley Cup final, and this year we get upset by a team that wasn't really that good. And it's kind of annoying, but hopefully this team could get back to the playoffs again this upcoming season, which more than likely they will. But hopefully we can get a little bit farther than the first round again, because obviously we kind of took a step backwards in terms of winning the Stanley Cup. Also, we do have a lot of young guys in the minors that are probably going to have to crack into our lineup this upcoming season, which means we're probably going to have to let go of guys like Boone Jenner and stuff like that to make room for them. And hopefully this team can still assimilate well with a lot of younger guys in the lineup. But before we get into the draft and resign stage, we do have a few comments to go over. So the first one is from HawksFan88. He says, "Tough way to go out. I would take Boumedienne with your first pick. If you can't get him, then DeMaio would also be a good pick." And I was also asking him about what we should be getting for Lenefeld, and he just says that we should basically find a trade and see what happens at the draft. So I guess we'll just take a look and see what kind of offers we get thrown at us for Lenefeld, because we are going to be moving on from a Lenefeld because of the fact we do have an elite goalie prospect that I think is going to be in an NHL next season, because he was a 76 at 20, but I feel like he could jump up to a 79 easily for next season. Based on his stats from the AHL this season. So we probably will have 2 really low overall goalies next season, but I think we should be able to still win games even if they're both 78, 79, and hopefully obviously our medium elite one gets a lot of development this upcoming season, because then he could be a legitimate starter. Now, it does suck to move on from Lenefeld, because Lenefeld obviously got us to the Stanley Cup Finals last season, but this most recent season, he just wasn't his same self. He kind of dropped off in terms of stat line. I don't know if it's because we had a worse defensive core, because we brought in 2 younger guys into our blue line this upcoming season. I don't know if that's the reasoning, but then in the playoffs he really struggled by comparison of last year, because last year he was amazing, and then this year he just could not find his rhythm. So we are gonna have to trade him away, which kind of sucks, like I said, but it is what it is. And the last and final comment is from Half Silly. He says the boys need to start eating some playoff W's, either DeMaio or Boumedienne, considering how awful that penalty kill is. But I would go with Boumedienne because A's and B's are guaranteed, and you didn't show DeMaio's. So both Hawks fan and Half Silly are both saying the same people, which is good, because I like when people are on the same page. Because if people are all saying different players, it's kind of annoying when I have to try and choose one person to choose from. So let's take a look at those 2 guys. So there is Boumedienne and there is DeMaio. So DeMaio, yeah, his stats aren't guaranteed. He has no weakness, and he's a guaranteed 1-year ETA, which is interesting. Boumedienne is NHL ready potentially, but he does look like he has way better statistics. So yeah, we're probably definitely going to go with Boumedienne, even though DeMaio looks like he could be, I don't know. DeMaio looks like he could be an OFD because he's a similar style to Brian Leetch, which is interesting. And then Boumedienne's probably a 2-way defenseman, but we'll probably still take Boumedienne anyways. But if we can't get one, we could always just go with the other. It doesn't really matter, because both of them are going to be probably pretty good, top 4 defensemen. I don't think they're going to be elite, but they're probably going to be top 4 defensemen, or 68, 69 overall, somewhere around there, my guess. So anyways, those were the comments we got in the last episode. So let's get into the draft, and then we'll get into the resign stage, which I think should be pretty easy, because we do have Farinacci to resign and stuff like that are big term contracts, but we're probably going to let go of a lot of guys that were here for quite a while in getting us to that Stanley Cup Finals 2 years ago. And yeah, just because I want to make sure we have enough room for our young guys first, and then we could re-sign guys again in free agency if we want to bring some people back. So let's get into this draft, see what we could snag up here, and we'll also take a look first at what we could get for Hugo Lenefeld, because that's one thing we're going to do, and that will give us also a little bit more cap room as well, which is kind of nice. So a Lenefeld, what can you fetch us? Tyler Seguin, no thank you. Brandon Saad in the second. Those are the only 2 offers, really? I mean, Seguin would just go to the free agency right away. I don't think I really have a spot where I could throw in Seguin into our lineup. That's 1 year at $10 million. Damn, that's a big contract. Let me just take a look at Seguin, but I think I'm going to just try and find my own offer instead, because these offers are kind of bad. Yeah, Sangin's due to probably drop off, and he doesn't fit our scheme fit at all. So we'll just try and find an offer instead with the team. A lot of teams are interested in the Lenefeld at this time, which is kind of annoying. We could trade him to the Canucks, it looks like, though. And we'll just try and trade him for a pick, because I don't really care about moving him for prospects, I don't think, unless they have anything that's really interesting, which I don't think they do. So let's try and get... I might be able to get the second round pick from the Canucks, which will give us an extra pick in terms of getting more prospects, and not that we really need more prospects, but it is what it is. Let's try this. A Lenefeld for a second. That's rejected, so we might need to add a tiny bit to this deal. Which, I mean, we have a lot of late round picks, so we'll just give one of our 6th round picks from Tampa Bay. And basically that gives us a chance to move up a little bit. That's still rejected. We need to sweeten it just a touch, it says. So how about the 184th pick, which is our own pick? That's still rejected. Guess we'll do a 5th rounder because we do have multiple 5ths, so this should work as well. So we will give up Carolina since it's a little bit later. And that should go through. Yep, there we go. So Lenefeld heads off to Vancouver. We do get a 2nd round pick back. We do give up one of our 5th rounders, but I think that was a solid trade, especially if there's any good players going in the 2nd round, which I actually don't know if there is, but it also does save us a little bit of cap space as well going into this offseason, which we might need for Farinacci. So let's see the first top 5 picks in this draft. So St. Louis is going to take Pody, who is a right-wing sniper. Let's take a look at his stats. There he is. He's going to be a pretty good goal scorer, I can tell you that. Yeah, let's see who goes number 2. Calgary takes Drieger, another sniper, but 80 overall only. Interesting. Also really good shooting stats and some good X factors. Did Pody have X factors? He didn't. That's interesting. The 1st overall pick, no X factors, but the 2nd overall pick does. I wonder if Drieger is going to be a better player than Pody just because the X factors are not. Seattle number 3 is going to take a high top 4 defenseman. What the heck are you doing, Seattle? That's a whiff of a pick right there. I mean, this guy's going to be good probably, but that's kind of a weird thing to take at number 3, especially when there's probably still elite players on the board. New Jersey on number 4 is going to take Tanguay, who's another sniper, so this is a very sniper-heavy draft. And Vancouver at number 5 is going to take Sawatsky. Let's take a quick look at these guys as well. This guy's also got some X factors, and Sawatsky's a playmaker who's an 82 overall. And there's his stats, pretty solid as well. Okay, so that is the top 5 in the draft. Let's sum up to our pick, actually at number 24. Damn, we might not be able to get one of those guys unless we want to move up. I might try and move up in the draft since we have a lot of picks to get one of those defensemen. Because I feel like DeMaio and Boumedienne could be off the board by the time our pick is. Is there anybody near 22 or 24? Or 22 or something that wants to move it? Ottawa wants to move, but that's only 1 spot ahead of us. Nobody wants to really move their pick, but we could still try anyways, because I bet you I could find a way to move up. Let's move up to 18 so we could guarantee getting ourselves one of those defensemen maybe. Because we do have a lot of picks that we could just move up with. Like we have 2 2nd round picks, we have 2 3rds. We should be able to easily move up, so we'll have to give up our own 1st. And why don't we just throw in like a 5th round pick into this deal? Let me just see the values. Yeah, I should be able to just throw in like a 5th rounder to get this done, I think. So yeah, our 1st and a 5th move up. How many spots is that? 6 spots. And that's rejected apparently, so I guess we would have to give up a 4th rounder. Yeah, this might be a little bit tough to give the move up, but I don't want to give up too much, obviously, to move up only a couple spots. Still rejected. Okay, maybe not Columbus. We need to find a way to move up, though, because I guarantee you both those defensemen will be off the board, and I think we need them, kind of. And I'm okay with moving up and stuff like that and trading away assets. We could always give up a prospect to move up, but I don't really want to do that. So we need to go to draft picks. Again, they do not want our 1st round pick. God damn it, Rangers. There's got to be somebody that wants to move a pick. Let's go to 20th, the Nashville Predators. What do you guys want? Do you guys want our 1st? Yes, you do. Okay, good. We'll give you 24th, and we will also throw in a 5th rounder because we're only moving up 4 spots. And that is rejected. How about a 4th rounder? Because I'm not giving up a 3rd or a 2nd to move up, only a 4 spots. What about a 4th? And do we have multiple 7th round picks? No, we do not. We have multiple 6th, so I'll do a 4th and a 6th. And that should work, right? Nope. Damn, none of these teams want to move up or move down. So we might end up having just a hope that none of these teams take those defensemen, but I really think we need to get moving up a little bit. Where are these defensemen supposed to go again? Right around this stage, so I could try and trade with Washington. The AI is going to make a pick soon, which means I'm going to get interrupted soon probably, so I can't even make a trade right now, can I? I'm going to get probably interrupted mid-trade offer or something like that. They don't want our first, but let's try it anyways, and we'll give them a 4th rounder as well. That's the move up, only 3 spots. It's rejected, wow. Okay, this might be way tougher than I thought. Yeah, we might not be able to get those defensemen, but we could always still see if we end up getting them. Like, we could move up 1 spot if we really wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary. So yeah, we're not going to move up, which means those defensemen might be off the board by the time we get a chance to get them, but we will see if they go anyways. So let's into our pick and see if both are off the board, which, medium elite, damn. We just missed out on a good player in a Afinogenov. Boumedienne did go, and what was the other one? I don't remember the other one's name. But Boumedienne was pretty solid. Sucks that we don't get him. Offensive defenseman, 75 overall. And who was the other one? Or did he not go? Yeah, I think the other one didn't go. Yeah, I think the other one didn't go, which is good. But it's kind of interesting that there's a couple medium elite players that we could have gotten as well earlier on. Okay, let's get into our pick, which, yep, we could still get DeMaio, so that's good that we could get DeMaio. Sucks that we couldn't get Boumedienne, but DeMaio 1 year away, and he looks like he's going to be probably just around the same amount as good as Boumedienne was. So welcome aboard, Tyler DeMaio. 72 overall, top 4 defenseman, 2-way, and he also does have X factors, which is interesting. There is his stat line just in case you wanted to take a look at that, and he does have back at you and send it. So good passer and a good payback to hitters. Interesting. How did this guy do in junior? Pretty solid. That's an interesting pick there. Good, at least we didn't have to move up to get one of the 2 of them, but it does suck that we didn't get Boumedienne, obviously, considering he's the better of the 2. Let's get the rest of this draft done because we do have a lot of picks to go through still. 3 years away. Let's just go look at these other guys. 4 years away, no weakness, maybe. The no weakness is kind of interesting about Penner. We'll just pin him for a second. 3 years away. Yowensu doesn't have an ETA apparently. Vasyunov, 3 years away, probably top 9. Yeah, this draft doesn't look that great, so I don't know why I traded for a pick, but it is what it is. I think we're just going to go with Penner based on the fact he has no weakness and he's maybe 4 years away, which means he could be elite potentially, I think, because usually top 6s are 3 years away always. So let's take a chance on this centerman, Engage Penner, who's a big guy as well, 6'4", 213, and it's a power forward, which I don't think we really have a lot of. Top 9, damn, that sucks. I was hoping at least like a top 6. But hopefully this guy develops into being something. It's a solid overall for an 18-year-old, so I will take that. Next pick, still in the 2nd round here. A lot of top 9s and stuff like that. Lindros might be interesting, might be 2 years away. I don't think he will be, but I still might take him anyways. Yeah, we're going to take him anyways, why not? And he's a top 60, 62 overalls, so yeah, this draft is not good in terms of potential. Some of these players have good overalls, though, so they might end up becoming good AHL players at some point. So there's that. Miura, Justice Miura, no weakness as well. A lot of these guys have no weakness, which is weird. This guy might be 2 years away. And this guy might have good stats. He has good physical, which means this guy's probably a power forward. He could be a grinder. He could be an enforcer. You know, we're going to take him, Jermaine Bailey. Why not? It's a cool name. And he's a low top 6, not bad, 65 overall power forward. Maybe he'll develop into being something, but we're getting a couple good power forwards in, which is something that will give us a little bit more size advantage as opposed to other teams. And there is that defenseman that I pinned that I forgot about almost. A medium elite 2-way defender in Caden Rabbit that I said I was going to get. We're definitely going to snag him up and see how good he is. He's going to be a bit of a project. Up 51 overall. but we do have a good medium elite goalie, or not goalie prospect, but like a defensive prospect that hopefully will develop into being something decent for us down the road. So that was a good pick. What else will we get in this draft? I honestly don't really know. Doesn't really seem to be much else in this draft. 19 years old, probably not that great. I guess we'll just go with one of these low top 6Ds. BCB. How about this dude? That guy's worse. That guy's worse. So we'll go with Hunwick considering he's the best of those 3 low top 6Ds. Why not? 58 overall offensive defenseman. That's kind of bad. I didn't expect him to be in the 50s. Next pick we got in the 5th round still. Man, we have tons of picks this year. Not that we really need all these prospects in, but I guess we will get some good trade bait if we really want to trade away some prospects. We could just trade away a lot of these guys we're drafting that we don't need really. Yeah, this draft looks like a write-off for the rest of us almost. But there is still a lowly defenseman in Osgood, so I think I'll take him already. Because might as well. So I'll take him. He's a 50 overall. Gives us another good elite prospect in our defensive system. We'll just go by the best potential players. I did pin Vorobev, but I still don't know how good he is. But he is guaranteed to be 4 years away. He is already 20 though. He's probably like a low top 9, my guess. But I'm going to still take him anyways, even though he's not supposed to get drafted, I think. He's a low top 6D. Oh, he's a defenseman, not a forward. Never mind. I thought he was a forward for some reason. Okay, we should have like 2 picks left, and then we're finally done this draft, which has been pretty crazy. Austin Yashin. Is this guy like literally an American Russian or something like that? Like, did Alexei Yashin have a kid while he was playing for the Islanders, and that's this guy? Because that's kind of a weird name. Colton Duffy. What else we got here? Yeah, I honestly don't really know what else we could go with, so I'm just going to take probably this low top 4 maybe, and Wilson Delmore. We'll take him. We got a lot of defensemen in this draft, but at least it's something that we could replenish our defensive core with, because we do have a lot of veterans on there, because eventually Jake Chikrin might leave this team at some point. So we got to have guys that can replace them down the road. Some of these guys probably won't even get signed, but it is what it is. Let's just take Sundqvist since we haven't taken enough forwards, really. Low bottom 6, grinder. Don't really like that. And that is our draft. So, not the greatest draft for us, but we do still get at least one of those defensemen that you guys mentioned. We also got a low elite defenseman and a medium elite defenseman that are going to be a little bit of a project player, but I think it was still like an okay draft for the most part, but I don't know if any of those guys are going to make the NHL squad at some point or not. So that was the draft, and now we got to get into the resign stage. Do we want to resign our associate coach? I don't really know if it really matters, to be honest. Do we have the money to get him back? Probably. Yeah, I'll still give him what he wants if he wants to accept that. Okay, so resign stage. This is going to be interesting to see what we could get players back at. So let's start off with our RFAs first. So Geeky is the big one, but he has not really been that great of a player, so I don't think I really want to give him a long-term deal. I could just qualify him and see if any teams send offers to us, which I might do, but he only wants 2.5 for 3 years. That's not bad, and then we could still ship him away if for some reason he's still really terrible in the playoffs, because that's where he's not been good at. Him and Dylan Ganther are 2 players that I wouldn't mind moving away at some point, but I would like to still keep him around for now. Also, I just realized Geeky's hair is really cut out terribly in Photoshop, but then again, I'm not that good at doing that either, so, but that's kind of funny. Let's try and talk him down a little bit. Let's try and talk him to like 3 years at, let's go with 2.15. I think that's a good enough offer, and then we could keep him around for a few years, and if he for some reason doesn't do well, we could always flip him away at some point. That's a low risk, high reward. I think we only have 25 million in cap space, so we got to be kind of careful of who we give contracts to and for how much. We'll just qualify a bunch of our AHL guys, I think. We'll probably let go of some of the UFA ones to make room for some guys that are unsigned at the moment. But we'll qualify all these AHL dudes, because why not? I think I'm going to let go of Yannick, though, because Yannick is one of these guys that has been there since the beginning, so let go of him. Varlamov still wants a two-way deal, which is kind of interesting, because he might be in the NHL team next season. Lawrence still wants a two-way deal. Both of them I think I want to play in the NHL next year. Henriksen is probably going to be let go for now. He was just a depth option in the NHL. We are going to let go of him for now, but we might bring him back. There's always that option. Braden Tracy I want to keep around for. He only wants a one-year deal, so I think I'm going to do that for now. Give him 1 year at 1.9 if he wants to accept that. And then Sadikov is a really interesting one. He's only played one season. He had that 40-goal rookie season, which was absolutely insane. So this guy with power play time and 5-on-5 time will score a lot of goals. We know that now. So I think I want to lock him up for 5 years, which might be a bit of a stretch. Obviously, if he doesn't perform well, we can maybe still trade him away with a 5-year deal. But I think 3.25 for 5 years is a very low risk, high reward type of deal. I would give him 8 years, but I just don't want to sign him too long term and then not being able to move him if for some reason he doesn't do well. But I think 5 years at 3 is a good deal. We don't have any RFA goalies. Let's get to the UFAs. John Farinacci is the big one here. He wants 7.15 for 4 years. If we go to 8 years, it's not that bad. I'm already going to let go of a couple guys, like Kadri's definitely gone because he dropped off a lot. I think we're going to let go of JJ Moser just to make room for some AHL guys. And we're going to sign Bykov because Bykov is good for the AHL. Koltsov, I don't really think I have any room for, unfortunately. But he does look pretty solid, so I probably should sign him. These other guys really aren't growing either. And they probably won't make it, so I think I'm going to let go of everybody else, but I am going to sign Koltsov for the AHL club, because Koltsov, even though he's a top 9, he does look like he has good shooting stats, so he might be somebody that's decent enough to make the NHL at some point. So we'll sign him up as well for the AHL team. And I think we're also going to let go of us and Nick Baudin, who we are using as a depth option. I would use him, but we do have already a lot of defensemen. We could always call up guys from the minors as well and sign a new defenseman to replace him, but best of luck in free agency, Nick Baudin. And then I think we'll also let go of Gaucher and Jenner, which is going to be kind of controversial because obviously Boone Jenner is pretty good now, but he's wanting $5 million, which is a lot of money. So I think for now we're going to let go of Boone Jenner, but we could always bring him back if you guys want me to. So best of luck, Boone, in free agency. And then also Julian Gauthier, I don't think I want to bring him back for now. Yeah, I think I'm going to let him go for now as well, but we could always bring them back if we guys think it's necessary, but I want to get to our bigger guys first. Do I want to bring back Tendek from the AHL? I got to take a look at who's unsigned currently. DeMaio could not play in the AHL yet. Sasaki can, I think. No, he can't. He's still 72, so we'll still wait on him for a little bit longer. And yeah, everybody else I don't think I want to sign for the AHL yet. I want to give these guys a lot of time to develop because we have a lot of good prospects over there. So Farinacci, what do we want to give you? I think I might want to give him an 8-year deal, to be honest, because he puts up good numbers. And if we could get him for like 8x8, that's a good deal, I think, because we already have, Shelley on his 8x7.2. We also have Agostino, who still has 7 years left at like 8.8. So the 3 of those guys are like the core pieces of this future. So I'm going to do 8x8 and see if he wants to accept that. And I will just, I guess, re-sign Tendek for the AHL for now if he wants to accept that. So let's advance today, see if we get all those guys back, which we probably should. Let's go through them quickly. There you go. And Geeky still rejected Sadikov and Tracy, so those RFAs need a little bit better contracts. And Farinacci did not accept yet. So Farinacci will give you a little bit more than that. Let's do 825 then. You're definitely worth it considering you put up good numbers. But if we have to trade you away at some point, we will. And let's go back to Geeky. Let's just do it at 3 years at 2.5. That's cheap. And then Sadikov, I want to still lock him up for 5 years if I can. And yeah, we'll just give him what he's asking for as well. 5x3.5 is a steal of a contract if he will to accept that. And then Braden Tracy, I still will give a 1-year deal to, but I wouldn't mind keeping him around long term. But we'll give him 1 year at $2 million. And I think that's good. Let's advance today. And okay, we got everybody but Tracy and Farinacci still rejecting. So apparently Farinacci doesn't want an 8-year deal. So I will just give him what he wants for 4 years. And we'll give him $7 million. So less term for Farinacci, but then it's kind of a lower risk, high reward type of thing. And Tracy, we'll just give you what you want because literally that's like cheap. And Farinacci still rejected apparently. I don't know why Farinacci's being a holdout. Let's try and get you at 6 years then, and we'll give you like more than you're asking for because apparently you want more than what you want. So 8.25 for 6. Let's try that. And that's accepted. Okay, perfect. So 8.25 for 6 years is pretty solid for Farinacci, I think. All the rest of those guys are qualified and ready to go. We have 12 million in cap space, which is not really a whole lot. Obviously, all these RFAs are just going to sign two-way deals. So I don't really know what we need to look for. Because like forward-wise on our team right now, we already have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And like I said, Fortier more than likely would be a depth option, but I do want to play like Lawrence, Varlamov, maybe even Scholes if he's ready this season. And then defensively, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We probably still need a depth defenseman because Ladipov I don't want to use as a depth defenseman yet. He's not ready for sure. So depth defenseman is something we need. And goalie-wise, I don't really know if we need a goalie yet because Pettersson should be an NHL goalie for next season. So, that means we only have one AHL goalie at the moment, actually. So I think we might actually have to sign Nicholas Hornquist. But I'll leave that in terms of free agents and stuff like that. Like at the start of next season, if we need to sign ourselves an NHL goalie, then we can, and then Pettersson could be back in the AHL or something like that. But anyways, let's take a look at what's available in free agency, and then that'll be it for this episode. We'll also take a quick look at the trading block and stuff like that to see what's available in case we want to make any trades, but I don't think we really need to make trades. Did all our RFAs accept already, or are these guys holding out or not? Just curious on that front. Nope, everybody is accepted. Perfect. And we do have a lot of contract space as well, which is good. So, yeah, we pretty much just need a depth defenseman, and we could use a goalie if, for some reason, Pettersson isn't ready to go for the upcoming season. Let's just take a look at what is available out there. Like I said, we can make trades if need be instead. So, goalie-wise, if for some reason Pettersson is not ready, there is goalies out there, but a lot of them are veteran-heavy players. Jeremy Swayman. I don't know if any of these guys even simulate that well. Matt Sjogard's probably the best for the young age. Let me take a look at their stat lines. 9-10, that's actually pretty good for Matt Murray. But he was, I don't know where he was a backup goalie. 9-20 for Vitek Vanacek, damn, he seems good. But obviously I don't know if I really want an 87 because I feel like he'll be in a first round exit maybe. Something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of goalie options out there if we want to bring in a goalie. Let me just take a look if there's any potential players. Not really. There is a starter in Hernandez, but he's probably not going to make the NHL at any time. Jack Hughes is a free agent. Jack Hughes is an RFA, though. Damn. He got dealt to Detroit, but he still had RFA rights, which I didn't really realize. That's interesting. I was going to say if he was a UFA, maybe we'd go after him just because of you guys, but I don't really have any forward room for him, especially with letting younger guys get into the lineup. Anybody else interesting that's unsigned? Ooh, Cyrus Gallagher. How did this guy go undrafted? A 70 low elite winger, and he's a sniper. We're going to sign this guy already because you guys are going to definitely say to go after him for the AHL, so why not? And there's also a 65 defenseman as a low elite. We're going to sign you up as well, because why not? Some really good undrafted players. So yeah, we'll sign those two guys up for the AHL. And then, yeah, I'll leave the rest of the stuff up to you guys on what we want to sign. But we definitely need a depth defenseman. That's probably what we need mainly. Because, like I said, we want to give some opportunity to Lawrence and stuff like that in the NHL. Because Lawrence was in the NHL a few years ago. And then we put him back in the AHL for a few years just because he wasn't ready yet. And I think he deserves an opportunity too. So for depth defenseman, there's like Dersey, who doesn't really fit our scheme. There's Robert Haig. There's Connor Clifton as well, who does fit our defensive core potentially. But those guys are all pretty old. There's also a bunch of others like Jack Rathbone. There's Orlov, Lavazon, Gleason. Yeah, there's good options for depth if we want to sign ourselves a depth defenseman, which I think is something we got to do. I don't even know how to pronounce this dude's name, but he could be even a depth defenseman. But yeah, it's pretty much that. Also, Riker Evans, that's not bad, considering he's a lowly 25-year-old. I don't know if he fits our defensive core, but he might be interesting. So that is that, and let's take a quick look at the trading block, and then that'll be it for this episode. It's been a little bit of a longer episode, but it is what it is. Okay, so Anaheim has nothing, Boston nothing, because we don't care about prospects really to trade for. We care about guys getting into our lineup. Veteran-wise for Calgary, they have a lot of good forwards, but we don't really need forwards, I don't think. Tara Vinan's there with a 5-year left deal. Colorado's got prospects. Columbus has Jake Bean for defense, but we don't need actual defensemen. We need depth defenders more. Or goalies, too. We could, if we wanted to get Pettersson into the NHL in a few years instead. But there's all those guys available. Sagan's on the block. Dylan Strome, Frost. Yeah, it's a lot of forwards mainly right now, other than defenders. A lot of prospects as well that we don't need. Will Butcher is not really a depth defenseman. Grzelcyk, multiple years left on a lot of these guys, so probably not going to be trading for most of them. Alexiak, Sharon Govich, Wilson, Johansson, and Liljegren's not bad of a defensive option, depth option. I mean, he's pretty much the same as Bodine, just a little bit worse overall-wise. And apparently he fits all of our power plays, maybe. But that's pretty much it, so... Liljegren's like the only one that fits like depth option category almost. Seems weird seeing Kopitar with the Rangers. What else we got here? Philadelphia, Dvorak, Bo Horvat, Connor Garland, Nick Schmaltz is on the block, but 5 years left. No, thank you. Don't want to bring him back. More prospects and picks and all that stuff. Yeah, there's not really a whole lot that I'm seeing on the block. So we'll probably just have to sign what we want instead. JT Miller, don't have any room for him in our lineup. And that's pretty much it. Morrissey on 1 year left. That's interesting, but I don't have really anywhere where I'd slot him in. Unless we were to play him instead of Schneider. Which is something that we could do. If we want to get rid of Schneider, we could always bring in a defenseman. Morrissey's pretty good. He does look like he might fit all of our pairings as well. That's a really intriguing one. Not that we really need a veteran player on the back blue line, but there's also Neil Pionk, who does maybe fit one of our pairings as well. Both on 1 year left deals. And Connor Carrick is also one that would fit in as a depth option if we want him, but he's not really that good of a depth defenseman. So that is that, and I think that's pretty much it. Let's take a quick look at progress reports for fun, just to see what's going right. Okay. How about in the system? A lot of growth. I like to see that. Okay. Pretty much the same stuff as we saw last episode, I think. So I think that's pretty much that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode of our Arizona Coyotes franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to free agency, and we'll also start up the season simulation, and hopefully this team could make it back to that Stanley Cup Finals again this upcoming season. Obviously, we are going through a little bit of changes to our team, but we're trying to integrate our youth that is upcoming from the AHL. So I'm going to think that below, and I'll see you guys next time.